Afternoon, people. Afternoon. I did tell you it's going to be Gene today, but he's had to run to the studio, quickly sort a few things out. So you've got me to deal with today. I'm a bit under the weather today as well, so I'm not feeling too well. So you'll have to bear with me. But I had to come on. I had to come on because the story keeps developing. There's been plenty of developments today, and the dominoes are slowly but surely, one by one, falling in place. And that's what Liverpool fans are looking. They are looking towards what Newcastle are doing. They are looking towards what Darwin Nunez is doing. And I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I don't think Liverpool sanction a move if they don't have some assurances on what their plan is after Darwin Nunez and after Luis Diaz. So SGTV says, what dominoes? What dominoes? I don't know. You tell me. I'm uh, I just think you're just trying to play. Newcastle can't land a striker to save their lives. They will land a striker. They will land a striker, and they will land a couple of strikers as well. As long as we land Isak, that is the main thing. And I will be very, very surprised if Alexander Isak is not a Liverpool player in by the before the transfer window shuts. So excuse me, you'll have to bear with me today, coughing throughout the stream. But big up to everyone. There's 234 of you already in the building. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. And by the way, overnight we reached 15.9 thousand subscribers. Thank you so much. It might be a small achievement to many of you people, or to many content creators who have got half a million subs and a million subs. But we started to build a community, and we've got a really, really good momentum about us this summer. And it's all down to you guys, because you guys are the reason why we come in here and we engage with you guys. It's such a unbelievable community that we're building here. Honestly, the amount of good people, and that's what it's all about. Amount of good people that I get to meet and talk to on the phone, or whenever we go to Anfield. The amount of love and support, people coming up to you saying, "Keep up the great work." And when it does, it does only give you motivation to do more. Um, it gives you a really good feeling that, you know what, people are appreciating your work and effort. So big up to all of you guys. Head over to the BNR YouTube membership, where you can enjoy exclusive content. I've just been sent a couple of pictures. I've been busy today on the phone asking the people that I talk to, what is the situation with Harvey Elliott? What is the situation with Darwin Nunez? I was texting a few people, and I also asked a few questions about Mark Gahey. Mark Gahey, I got told that Liverpool are still waiting for Crystal Palace to blink. They still want the player, but they don't like the fee. And that is one area that they like to do. Obviously, we've seen the links with Cresswell. We've seen the links with Collins. We've seen the links with Leone as well. Paul Joyce name checking Leone of Parma a couple of days ago as well. So keep an eye out for that. Paul Joyce doesn't mention a name just out of the sky. There's always a reason behind it. But as I understand, Liverpool are still in for Mark Gahey. They still really like the player, the project, the leader, and the profile as well. And the player wants Liverpool, but it's all on Crystal Palace's stance at the moment, that they believe that he's worth around 50 to 55 million pounds, which Liverpool, considering if he had about 2-3 years left on his contract, I think Liverpool would have had Mark Gahey in a red shirt by now. I think you'd all agree. But that is what I got, and Liverpool are still looking to do that deal. So keep an eye out on it. Let's see what happens. There was some links with Newcastle, Newcastle trying to leapfrog Liverpool. We've seen that, how that ends up this summer already, when they try to go under our noses and get Hugo Ekitike, when they sort of accepted that Isak would be leaving the club. But Liverpool had the word. Liverpool had the assurances from the player that he only wants Liverpool. It's the summer of Liverpool, and every single Liverpool player that has come has said that. I reject, well, not categorically said I rejected clubs, but the reports are that there were many clubs at the table, and Liverpool were the first choice. And long may it continue when you're the champions and you're going around acting like champions on and off the pitch. This is what happens. It becomes a snowball effect, and the best players around the world want to be part of that journey and want to be part of the club as well. So let's see. Excuse me, what happens? Ali's in the building. Avi said Thursday. Remember, Asim, look, whatever Avi says, just in one ear, out the other. Um, right, let's go to what the developments regarding Darwin Nunez are this morning. There was a bit of, I don't know, not journal beef, but maybe a few differences between have Liverpool agreed a fee, if or have they not. What I would say about Fabrizio Romano is you don't mess around with his Saudi Arabia. You don't mess around with Fabrizio Romano, generally speaking, anyway. But when it comes to Saudi, look, I can only say a few things, but what I do know is you just don't. If he says something regarding Saudi Arabia, it's bang on. It's bang on. The guy has some serious links with agents and players and everything, and I can only share what I can only say on stream. But I'm trying to be as careful as possible. But just in a nutshell, if he says something about a Saudi deal, you just take it as gospel. Let's go to um, here we are. There were some tweets. David Ornstein reported as well. There's another journalist that you should trust. Al Hilal have reached an agreement in principle to sign striker Darwin Nunez from Liverpool, a deal worth 53 million pounds. Excuse me, plus add-ons, has been struck verbally, with the 26-year-old indicating his willingness to accept the proposed move. This looks bang on. Paul Joyce has come out. The departure of Nunez would continue the overhaul of slot squad, with Harvey Elliott was attracted attention from RB Leipzig, and Federico Chiesa also looking to leave. Romano again, Darwin Nunez exclusive, will cost around. And let me know what you think about the fee. Are you surprised with the fee? Disappointed? Are you just happy to get any sort of money for Darwin Nunez? Let me know what your thoughts are in the chat. 53 million fee plus add-ons. Here we go soon. Al Hilal have agreed every term with Liverpool. Story revealed earlier today, confirmed as done club to club. Liverpool will receive 53 million fixed fee plus add-ons as Nunez is finalising terms of his contract with Al Hilal. Deal almost done. Darwin's open to the move, and as soon as the details are clarified, he will travel for a medical. So this looks like it's on its way. Darwin Nunez is on his way to Saudi Arabia for a 53 million euros plus add-ons, which probably could reach around 65 million euros, maybe touching 70 million euros as well. So I think we have to be happy with that, where we bought the player, what the player was supposed to be, what we thought, what we're getting as well. We bought him, I think, with add-ons including, it's, it was around about 85 million pounds, wasn't it? And it was a huge investment from the club. And look, he gave us some moments. He's a figure that divides the opinion of the club. And if you go on by online social platforms, there's still a massive following. I call it a bit of a cult following with Darwin Nunez. And whether he does, he puts about 10 chances in Rose Ed, and they will not like you, criticizing him. And I personally, for the guys who've been watching BNR for a long time, I backed him, and I liked the profile, his chance creation, his actual ability to get into a moment where he could score a goal was unbelievable. He was, in those positions 4 or 5 times. He was a chance magnet. But the problem is there's no point being a chance magnet if you can't put the ball back at the net. And there has to be a line where how many chances are you going to give a player? So look, it is what it is. It's a shame that it didn't work out. But at the end of the day, Liverpool have to draw a line and cut their losses. And for around, if you're going to get 65 million euros, including the add-ons, then I think that is a very, very good deal. It's a good piece of business from Liverpool, especially what the plan is after Darwin Nunez leaving. And I just like to repeat, I do not believe Liverpool will go into the season with Rio, Frimpong, the backup options for Ekitike, Gakpo, and Salah. That is not going to happen. And we will all protest outside the Anfield. As good as the summer has been in other departments, I don't think that's going to happen. And if there is, if that's the case, there'll be riots. But we all need to relax. I shouldn't be mentioning words like protests and riots. We're past that stage now. FSG has proven us wrong, even the biggest critics. But um, yeah, so here we are. What happens next? I'd like to reiterate the fact that I pointed out a couple of weeks ago on Twitter, on the shows, that Liverpool will not allow Luis Diaz and Darwin Nunez leave without a proper plan. And one thing that you can, it doesn't matter if you're still FSG out, one thing you cannot deny these guys, that they are really, really shrewd in terms of their planning and how they go about their business. They won't leave Liverpool short in attack. And Isak, I believe, will become a Liverpool player. Now, how that plays out in the next week or two, it'll be interesting. Obviously, we know Sesko is a favourite to go to Man United. I think Newcastle will probably in the next 24 hours get that official announcement, whether it's from the player or the club, and then they move on. And who are those other alternative targets? The likes of Jackson, the likes of Watkins, maybe, and there's a few others as well in France that have been mentioned. Stred Larson, I think those links are kind of cooled now, so I think Jackson's links are quite prominent in the rumor mills at the moment, and don't be surprised in the next 48 hours or so that Newcastle start negotiations with Chelsea. How much? Gonzalo Ramos is another one. He was, I think, quoted as around £50 million, which I thought you might be able to get him a bit cheaper. He doesn't start many games for PSG. How could he when you've got those 3-4 attackers at the club? But I thought it might be you'd be able to pick him up for about 35-40 million pounds. But the problem now Newcastle have got is the whole world. Appenda's another one, big up Bob. The whole world know they've got the Isak, or they will be getting the Isak deal. And as I revealed yesterday, I was blessed and lucky enough to be in the given a media pass, and I had my eyes open and my ears in terms of what the noise was around the media room. And I'm telling you, I can't mention any names. I was part of those conversations as well. That Isak is going to be like these guys who don't normally be confident in public. They were telling me in the media room that Alexander Isak is going to come to Liverpool, that the deal is bound to happen. They're just waiting for a few moving parts to fall in place. So I think you'll only see proper movement. And people were flabbergasted and surprised why Liverpool made 110 bid. But I think that was a few reasons why. It also probably told Newcastle that you're putting messages out there in the media that you're only going to accept an Isak bid around £150. Well, we're bidding £110 million just to let you know that we're around the 120 to 125 million pounds. We don't expect this 110 million pounds to be accepted, but one, we're officially engaging with you. Two, we're telling you, don't even think about 150 million pounds. But let's be honest, as football fans, as Liverpool fans, do we really give a crap if Liverpool pay 150 million pounds? Me personally, and I can only speak for myself, I wouldn't give a shit. I would not give a shit. I heard I saw some clips about Jamie Carragher saying Liverpool, he wouldn't like Liverpool to pay 150 million pounds. Where if we pay, and I don't think the fee will be around 150 pounds. If we pay, it's because we can, because of our financial might this summer and in general. And two, who cares if we pay 150 million pounds when you've got Isak banging in 30 goals next season? Would anyone mention that we paid an extra 15, 20 million pounds? No, you wouldn't. So yeah, it is what it is. I think we just sometimes get too engrossed with the figures and how much a club should pay. We're talking about these figures, and we're talking about 116 million pounds for Florian Wirtz. We're talking about 80 million euros for Hugo Ekitike, is because Liverpool are in a financial position to press the button on those deals. And if you have to pay a bit of a premium for the best players in the world, then so be it. Who cares? Um, right. Yeah, I know it's 150 million is unheard of, but come on, Hussein. Who cares? Who really cares? It's not my money. It's not your money. So if we bring him, and if it means I see Isak in a red shirt this summer, then we're all going to be happy. We're all going to be doing cartwheels in an Isak Liverpool shirt. Gaz is in the building. He says Asim Jackson wouldn't be Isak replacement. Wow. I've always said he would be a Liverpool player, but I have my doubts now. I think, okay. Gaz, who's been ever present in our building, in our chat for the last, at least for the best part of month since the whole Isak saga kicked off, and his opinion has slowly been changing, developing, and I think he accepted him, and like he says in that message, that Isak would become a Liverpool player, but he's got his doubts now that he thinks he stays for another year. I just can't see, guys, that Liverpool have let Darwin Nunez go and Luis Diaz go. And one thing our manager, who constantly mentioned the depth and the quality of the Liverpool team and how it should be in other areas where, actually, let's stick with the attacking department, where he put Chiesa on, and he didn't he'd throw him under the bus, even though the Dutch are straightforward, as we know. But you could tell that he didn't have the trust in him. He didn't have the trust in Jarell Quansah, and he didn't have the trust in many of the players, the golfing class between the bench, or the guys who would be coming in and trying to fight for even a place on the bench, and then given an opportunity, he wasn't happy. He does like to work with a close-knit 15, 16 players, but he wants them 15, 16 players to be a certain quality, and I don't think he had that, and he felt that as well. Whether it was Darwin Nunez, he thought he was talking about in the preseason how he's a natural number 9 who will run the channels. But even now, I was looking at Ekitike at the weekend. The one thing Ekitike was doing from a central position was coming on to the left hand side pockets, and a few of his best moments came from driving from those positions, because he connected first and then ran off from those inside left channels, basically a left-sided 10. And could Darwin Nunez do that? And I don't think he was on the technical level for him to do that, to connect play in transition when you need to attack space. He was your player. He was your outball. He was a target man. But I don't think, against settled defenses, he was the guy. And it frustrated Klopp, Slot, in many ways. But I beg to differ, guys, respectfully. I think Wissa is going to be your Wilson replacement. You probably can give me an update as to what's happening. The last time I read, there was an acceptance from Wilson and Brentford that this deal will happen. He turned up to training, didn't he? But he didn't train, as far as I remember. But Brentford, I've always thought, if the players are going to be on the strike, and Brentford have got no real what's the word? No real, if they can't really make the players stay, then it's all going to come down to an extra £5-6 million. And I think Brentford will get that. You'll get the player, and Wissa will be a Newcastle player. Now, you're saying he won't be the Jackson, he won't be the Isak replacement. Then who is going to be a Isak replacement? If Wissa comes through the door, if Jackson comes through the door, then where is your Isak replacement? Okay. In terms of what's happening with Isak, let me just quickly, as soon as I was coming on to the stream, you guys were saying Craig Hope Bomber. Let me quickly go to his Twitter and see what he said. It's more or less what we heard about half an hour ago, wasn't it? Alexander Isak did not train with Newcastle teammates today. He has been given a separate time to report to the training ground. Eddie Howe told Mailsport on Sunday, no player can expect to act poorly and train with the group as normal. You have to earn the right. Newcastle fans will be probably thinking this is exactly what we hope Eddie Howe is doing. Take it at face value. He's punishing him for his actions and going AWOL to Spain and Sociedad. The feeling is from the same Newcastle journalists over the last 3-4 weeks is that Newcastle didn't have any clue where the Isak was going and the whereabouts. They did not have a clue. And that is disrespectful. You have to call a spade a spade. If our player did that, we'd be absolutely going crazy at him. So you can understand the actual frustration and anger amongst the Newcastle fan base. But is this Eddie Howe just punishing him and then slowly integrating him? That's what the hopefuls in the Newcastle fan base will be thinking. This is Eddie Howe telling him who the boss is. But Liverpool fans will be thinking that this is a deal that cannot be it cannot be. There's no way of it for Newcastle to keep this player now, and that's where I am at. I think the acceptance around about 2-3 weeks ago, even before Ekitike became a Liverpool player, I thought the moment Newcastle made a move, that is when they thought Isak is not going to be at the club, and they had probably those talks with his representatives. They got notified, they got reminded. Call it what you want. The talk and the whispers were there well before we were told Liverpool have made not a formal approach. Well, have made a formal approach, but not formal bid for the players. So I think this is just part of the dance now, that Isak will become a Liverpool player. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you guys think that this, because there are still a lot, and every time I tweet, there's quite a few regulars on there who straight away saying Asim, stop it. Isak is staying at Newcastle. They will never sanction a move for Isak to go to Liverpool because they can't get any strikers. But there's still 2-3 weeks left. And how many times have we been talking about Isak is going to drag? Isak is not going to be a Liverpool player even when Liverpool play Newcastle on the second day of the Premier League season on that Monday night. The window shuts on the 1st of September, so they won't want him to play. So all these variables are still active. So I think I think we were making those predictions when these boys were saying I don't remember whether it was Ben, and there's a few of them as well saying it's going to get completed next Friday. We've also heard Avi's bomber Tuesday, Thursday, but I don't think it's going to happen. We might hear some news there where Liverpool have made a second bid, but in terms of agreed deals, in terms of the valuation of the player, I don't think so. I can still expect, and this is just opinion only, that 1 or 2 bids still might be rejected. But it will eliminate the stories of Liverpool are not going to come back for a bid unless they are contacted by Newcastle and stuff like that. But I don't even think that is true as well. Do you really think Newcastle, I'm going to pick the bottle up and make it a phone here, Newcastle are going to pick up the phone and say, okay, you can put your second in bid in now? That does not happen. It will happen when Newcastle line up a striker and Liverpool will see, okay, they will be more open to discussing now rather than putting the phone down on us straight away. That is when Liverpool put the first second bid in, and whether it gets rejected, I think Romano was saying 120. A lot of the reporters were sticking with 110 million. Let's go with 110 million pounds. I think if Liverpool bid again, they'll go 115 with maybe a few add-ons. And I think Liverpool will deal and shake hands with Newcastle at around 125 to 130 million pounds. Farouk is asking, do we move to other targets after our outgoings? I think we will. I think over the next week or two next week to 10 days, you'll probably see movement on Harvey Elliott. I asked about 2 hours ago as to what the kind of fee will be. And as you guys know, the guys who watch the channel regularly, that Avi's been saying we will never get even, around 40 million pounds. I think Liverpool valued him at 50. And I asked about the Harvey Elliott, and I got a response. I'm just not gonna give you my just like a paraphrase of it. Um, don't know at the moment, Asim. If I'm honest, not a clue, mate. But surely 40s or something. Um, Not much, but there was a ballpark figure there of 40 million pounds or 40 million euros. If I'm honest, and if you look at Liverpool's transfer dealings this summer with Kwanzaa, Tyler Morton, and a few others, especially with the Kwanzaa one, I think we sold him a touch 5 million, and even with the Diaz as well. I think Liverpool put in a Saudi clause, and so they might have asked initially a bit more money, but with the deal, they've said that if we can accept 5-10 million less, but we will insert a buy on clause, a sell on clause to Saudi, and all those sort of stuff. So I think it depends on that sort of thing. I can still predict something like that happening with Harvey Elliott. If he goes to a Premier League club, I think he might go for an extra 5-10 million pounds. Probably, if I'm realistic, an extra 5 million pounds. But I don't think a Premier League club will accept a buyback clause. That's my personal feeling. I can see a buyback clause with Leipzig. I can see a sell-on clause with Leipzig, but I can't see it with a Premier League club. I think Premier League clubs will probably be a bit stronger at the negotiation table. But if we get 40 million pounds for Harvey Elliott, I think we have to be happy with that. I think Avi was saying he'll be around 30 to 35 million pounds. I'd be disappointed, if I'm honest with you, if we get only 35 million pounds. But is it fair to say that you expected a bit more interest in Harvey Elliott? Maybe. Um, if we're going by reports, there's 4 or 5 clubs from the Premier League showing an interest. Do you think that interest would have advanced by now in the last week or so? But then what we're told is, and one of the guys who is close to BNR, he does know Harvey Elliott on a personal level as well, and we've been trying to get bits out of him for the last 3-4 weeks, and all we got told a good 3-4 weeks ago is 4 or 5 clubs are interested, and he mentioned these clubs to us, like the likes of Newcastle, Brighton, Spurs, West Ham. So let's see what happens if they do make a move on Harvey Elliott, and maybe where the stage is at, or the situation is at, where Harvey Elliott is just having a bit of time to think about the situation. He will know who is interested. He probably know the sort of ballpark figures, what he'll be earning at those particular clubs. Then get the go ahead from the player, and then that certain club will approach Liverpool and enter club to club talks as well. So let's see what happens. Gavin is saying Klopp is pushing the Elliott deal. I won't be surprised. He gave him plenty of chances when he was here at the club. He likes the player. There's that famous interview, part of the Liverpool TV. He came across really well, and you could tell the affection from Klopp to Harvey Elliott as well. Ash is in the building. Big up, Ash. Good player, but just physically doesn't fit Liverpool. Yeah, unfortunately. Can he go into the deeper areas? Can he become a Liverpool's very own Bernardo Silva? I don't think he can. Can he even become an Odegaard? Where I don't think Odegaard is showing the traits of a natural 10 to receiving the higher ends of the pitch. But what Odegaard does have, the trait is to come in deep and start, making things tick. And that's why Arsenal fans want him to be like a ball retention master in deep areas, because he does have the physicality, and he does have the legs, and he does have the stamina as well. But at the moment he's playing in a number 10. That's why Arsenal fans are looking at his output last season and want more. But Bernardo Silva is obviously, I know Bernardo Silva is not the same player, but over the last 3, 4, 5 years at City, he's just become an unbelievable player. Not the quickest, but he's got the IQ, the brain, the touch, the technical ability, the press resistance, and the subtle changes of direction. You just can't get the ball off him, even when you press him. So there's one moment I was talking to Gene about about 2 3 years ago, he was playing in central midfield, and we couldn't get the ball off him at Anfield. Honestly, I think it was that 2-2 game where he was absolutely unbelievable, and he had a few games like that with us. But he's a bit of a rat, but he's a seriously good player. Maybe not the same player right now, but he's still a very good player. But the point I mentioned, Bernardo Silva, is can Harvey Elliott become that sort of player? I don't think he's got those natural traits. He's probably more of a natural 10 compared to Odegaard in receiving the ball. But as we know, you in an Arnie Slot team, when you don't even have a natural destroyer on the team, it's a lot more possession based. But the press is really, really intense when the number 10 is expected to jump with the number 9 and then get back in. I don't think he can do that. And this is the reason why I love McAllister as a player. And when Soboslai was getting stick last season, and when people wanted McAllister in the number 10 positions, I was completely against it. I kept on writing threads after threads saying, look, you have to see what the manager wants. And the manager presses with the number 9 and then jumps with the number 10 as well. Can McAllister do that as good as a player he is? Sometimes we have to understand how the manager wants to play. And this is the reason why I didn't want McAllister to be our number 10. And that's why Arnie Slot has not made him a number 10 in this. McAllister is the best left-sided midfielder that we've got at the club. And even though Soboslai has shown that he's got some competition maybe this year in that, but he's still our best. And his traits of controlling tempo and breaking the lines are the best from those left-sided deep areas, and then driving and becoming a goal threat, as we saw last season with his shot outside the box, or if he's running into the box and trying to get his head on the ball. So Harvey Elliott, good lad, good family, really down to earth, good kid. But it looks like, especially when you buy the best number 10 in the world in Florian Wirtz, he's suddenly become fourth choice in the number 10 position. So yeah, that I think that deal is going to get done around the £40 million mark. And we will keep on trying to recoup some of those £1 million that we've dished out this summer. So Harvey Elliott is going to go. Federico Chiesa, I think we'll be looking around £7 to £10 million. Do Atlanta reignite that deal? I think that will happen. I think maybe those Italian clubs do know we want to sell. When it came to David Nunez, Napoli tried to get a little bargain offers. AC Milan showed interest in Darwin Nunez, but I think even though Liverpool slightly lowered the expectations in the value of Darwin Nunez, they still got more money from a Saudi club. And I think Darwin Nunez, if he went to Napoli or AC Milan, you're probably looking at around, I think they were looking around about £47 million. So yeah, I think Liverpool allowed Darwin Nunez to get that European move. It didn't materialize because the money didn't come, which Liverpool thought it'd be fair enough for him to enter those personal negotiations with those respected clubs. But and that's why now he's heading to the land of Saudi. Asim, are you concerned with the squad depth? If it was the last week of the window, I would be concerned. What are we on today? Are we on the 6th of August? I'm not concerned because I do know, I do believe that Liverpool have got a few deals lined up, whether it's Alexander Isak coming into the attacking line, whether it's Mark Gahey as an addition in the back line, whether it's Leone coming in as an 18, 19-year-old. I do still think Liverpool are open to getting two options in the back in the defensive line. I think Mark Gahey is looked at a player who can do the Kwanzaa job, he can do the Kanate job, and even give Van Dijk a rest. But also Liverpool are looking at an 18, 19-year-old, and this is what I got from what I believe is a top one tier source, is that Liverpool are still open to an 18 or 19-year-old this summer, as well as Mark Gahey. Whether that materializes or not, there's no guarantees. But Gavin says, Asim, you little tease. Yeah, so that's what I believe. And just keep an eye out on Leone. There was talk about Koliarakis. the Greek defender as well. I've been sent some stats. What I'll probably do on the show that I'm 2 seconds, people. What we on? Check messages. Okay, breaking news. Thank you very much, Ali. You can always rely on it. What were we talking about? Mine's gone. Sorry. Um, Newcastle refusing to comment on Alexander Isak training status. Wow. Squad barbecue confirmed, but Isak is to report after players have left. Big question mark on whether Isak has kicked the last ball for Newcastle amid Liverpool links. Let me know what you think. Has Alexander Isak kicked his last ball for Newcastle? Wherever that was. Who did they play on the last day of the season? I can't remember. Everton, didn't they? Yeah, and he's not played. So has he kicked his last ball against Everton in a competitive game? Yes. Isak rejects barbecue. uh, yes. Isak is long gone. Okay, so when he gets confirmed, when I have a little dig at those people giving me abuse on my Twitter posts saying, Asim, why are you hyping up the gaslighting the fan base and all that sort of stuff. So when Alexander Isak becomes a Liverpool player, I hope all those guys in the chat are backing me up when I throw a little dig. A little dig. I don't like to get abusive. Little dig here and there, a little jab is fine. A bit of banter. Mehmet is asking, do you guys think we do a possible Elliot for Lokeba exchange? Wow, maybe it's a good shout. As in, even if it's not like a direct exchange, it's all about working with the club, isn't it? We've got really good relations, as you guys have mentioned. We've got the big boss upstairs in Jurgen running things. So we should take advantage of those relationships, or tell Leipzig that we want Lokeba for next summer, if not possible this window. Yeah. Leipzig are an unbelievable club in terms of their model is all about nurturing young talent, becoming a really good level, and then sending them out to Europe for a big, massive profit. And if we can take advantage of that, then we should do. And especially when you Klopp, even though Slot is very, very similar to Slot, especially when off the ball and how it's counter press. A lot of the modern coaches, when they talk about the counter press, they talk about the gegenpress of Jurgen Klopp, and he's the pioneer of that. So there are a lot of similarities between Klopp and Slot, and where you see the Leipzig players and how they nurture talent, especially in the last 10, 15 years coming out of Germany. It's a very intense football. A lot of the coaches, players do talk about the German league being similar to the Premier League, even though the Premier League is a lot more intense and quicker, as Florian Wirtz was talking about at the weekend in the mix zone. So it is a really good league to go to, and these sort of profile of players are really good to nurture and just to smoothen a few rough edges. Asim, you were going to go shows. Yeah, I don't have those PDFs ready. Our data guy, Mizgan, big up to him. He sends me all these graphs and stats, and then I try to collate it and look at it a bit of a tactical perspective as well, and try to bring tactics and data together, and then see how they pan out. So I'll do that over the next couple of shows, I promise you. Okay, people, I'm going to leave it there. I've been going in for 40 minutes. I'm going to go back to work. As ever, we will be back if something breaks. I won't be surprised the way things are going today. If we hear something about Isak has not turned up to the barbecue, he's not going to turn up to the barbecue, but he might even have had those last showdown talks with Eddie Howe. They probably don't even want him around the club because, the noise that he will create, the journalists, the paparazzis around the club gates, training gates, it will just be a bit too much for the club, and it'll be a massive distraction. It's been a massive distraction for Newcastle as well, and maybe they just need to draw a line under it and tell their fan base that this player is not seen as a Newcastle player as of now. We will look to get the best deal with Liverpool over the next week or two, but our focus and our attention is all about bringing in his replacements, and we'll let him go once we have those replacements lined up. Whether it's Jackson, whether it's Watkins, whether it's Gonzalo Ramos, let's see what happens. So it's going to be fascinating. I want Isak to be a Liverpool player as quickly as possible because I want to see him on the training pitch and get fit as well. Because I know the scans were clear, but I want him to be training because training alone is not the same as training with the lads and getting some proper minutes in your legs as well. So let's quickly go through the super chats selection. Big up as ever, showing support to the channel. Yes, I do. 120 is already an overpay. Wow. Okay, this was the earlier not confirmation conversation that we had in the chat, and I said, look, I don't care if Liverpool pay 150 million. Quick question to the chat: would you care if Liverpool pay 150 million pounds for Isak this summer? Would you care? I wouldn't. I want to know what you guys think as well. Yes or no in the chat. Let's see what we get back before I go. No. It looks like you're alone, selection. It looks like, no, you're not alone. Who was it with a yes? Vansh. Not my money. That is exactly my starter poll. I don't know how to do it. I think admin's not. We'll put it up tonight. We could pay 300 million, Jazzy says. I would not care. Yeah, look, I don't think that fee is going to be that. I think Liverpool were trying to send a message to Newcastle saying, forget about 150 million. It's not going to happen. And that's why we probably went for a deliberate lowball type of bid just to send a strong message out. More super chats. Ash, big up. Gaz seems like a nice guy. Shall we? uh, Ash, lay off him, man. Lay off him. Gaz been very respectful, and he does seem a really nice guy, but they're a bit sore. A bit frustrated and angry this summer. So be careful, man, what you say to Newcastle fans. And if you think they're bad right now, imagine when they see Isak in a red shirt. James, thank you so much for sending this super chat, mate. Big up as ever. You think we are doing an Al Hilal PIF, a nice one with new. Ooh, okay. Look, I don't know. I don't really have any insight as to what type of relationships what they call the FSG and PIF have. There is some talk that FSG are going to invest in Saudi football as well. So you guys tell me. I've not really been paying attention as to how close Mr. Henry is to PIF. So if they are, I won't be surprised. I would not be surprised. But then you would say, look, is there any difference between what we're doing and what Manchester City are doing? But let's make that judgment when there is some proper news, and then we can make a call out, a call on it as well. Alamin's in the building. He says Asim's biggest FSG now. Look, FSG are doing what we've been crying out for 4 or 5 years. I was never crying out for this sort of window. Honestly, we go back to my threads and my tweets and my shows. I was only saying, look, we only one signing of a 30 million pound player or a 40 million pound player. And I still stand by that. And I still stand by the lack of investment or getting an extra cover for here and there. It cost us titles as well as we did, and as well as Jurgen Klopp absolutely squeezed every single thing out of his players. But I still stand by that. But what credit where it's due, I'm not going to just blindly say, look, these guys are still, doing wrong. And I want them out of the club. At the end of the day, they're moving and acting like champions. And that's what we've been crying out for in previous years when we won the title and we didn't strengthen from a position of power. And this is exactly what you said. Not replacing Genie cost you 100%. We didn't replace Genie's quality, and we didn't replace Genie's quantity of games as well. He played around 60 games every season. So let's see what happens. There's a nice rumor. Asim, I heard a rumor Isak wants to be at the Allison barbecues. There's a tweet for you, Ibu. There's a tweet. Okay, people, I'm going to leave it there. Someone said Asim Fabrizio. Let's quickly check that, even though I literally am running out of time. 55 seconds. Leipzig have started discussing contract terms with Harvey Elliott as priority target to replace Javi Simons. Wow. Discussions ongoing, waiting to understand players' decision. Okay, looks like there has been some sort of movement with Leipzig and Harvey Elliott. Okay, people, like and subscribe. I'm going to quickly check how many likes we're on, because there are still nearly 500 people. Close the chat as I speak. 196 likes. Come on, people. Let's get those likes up to at least 300. And we will be back maybe 6 o'clock. If not, we'll be back at 10:30. That is the BNR time, 10:30 on an evening every night. So we will see you very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Smash a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And we'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye for now.